legendary parties. This is the entrance of giants. And this was an idea conceived by Christian Dior and Salvador Dali. And it had these men on stilts meant to represent the phantoms of Venice. I'm so excited to share with you today one of the most important books in my library, Legendary Parties, 1922 to 1972, published originally in French in 1986 by Prince Jean-Louis De Faucigny-Lucinge. This is the English version, published in 1987 with an introduction by Brooke Astor, and it is absolutely incredible. My name is Sergio Andres with Elegance Found. Let's jump right in and see some of the most amazing things. So this book is primarily the most magnificent balls of the 20th century in France. These were private balls that were put together by kind of the wealth, the aristocracy, and the artists. And they were usually themed costume balls. And right here you see what I believe is the party of parties, the Fête de Fêtes, which was the Bestegui ball by Carlos de Bestegui, a Mexican who lived in France under Spanish protections, and he renovated the Palazzo Labia in Venice. And right after he renovated it, he threw a grand party in 1951. This backdrop here is not a painting that was done for the party. It is a Tiepolo of the Banquet of Cleopatra. And that really helped guide the theme. So the theme was 18th century masks and dominoes. I'm not sure why it was dominoes. I don't know what the word dominoes meant in 1951, but it was magnificent. And we see these incredible photos, this one by Cecil Beaton of Daisy Fellows and her attendant, Jamie Caffrey. And this is a Tiepolo on the back, which created an incredible backdrop. You actually had someone dress up exactly like the backdrop, which was Lady Diana Cooper, who was married to Duff Cooper, and her Mark Antony was the Baron de Cabrol. A magnificent party. They came in gondolas, 400 guests. They took over Venice. There was a relationship between public and private. This is the couturier Jacques Fath as the Sun King, his wife as Queen of the Night. This photo was by André Ostier, and this is a watercolor that gives you a little bit of the sense of the magnificence of this party. So this watercolor was captured by Alexandre Serebriakov, who was a Russian aristocrat that worked a lot with Carlos de Bestegui, also in his Chateau de Gousset. And this is the entrance of giants. And this was an idea conceived by Christian Dior and Salvador Dali. And it had these men on stilts that were meant to represent the phantoms of Venice. And here you see everyone in the crowd, this multi-storied grand room with the Tiepolo fresco. Here are some of the other watercolor images. Here are the grand entrance by Gondelier with the guests watching. On the other side of this, there was a platform with 4,000 spectators watching it. Here are some of the entertainment. The Marquis de Cuevas ballet performed. He was also a participant in the hall. Here they had the Venice Fire Brigade. I guess they didn't use ladders, so they actually would make human ladders to rise up to be able to fight fires. You see the processions. Here you see Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Diana Cooper, and the Baron de Cabrol. This is probably the most important ball of the 20th century, but it's just one of the amazing ones in this book. The other one I'd like to show you is the Oriental ball of another great tastemaker of the 20th century, Baron Alexis de Rede, and it was in his palace, his Hotel Lambert in Paris on Ile Saint-Louis, and he had Valerian Rebar design this party for him, and it was an Oriental fantasy. There were life-size papier-mâché elephants in the main courtyard. These watercolors were actually also by Alexandre Serebriakov. So So you see a little bit of continuity, even though this was 18 years later. Bestegui was at this party, and you see that they had a lineage in taste. Here he had half nude Nubian slaves to be part of the decor. Here he had what was called the Oriental Cabaret, the grand palace, one of the greatest rooms of the Hotel Lambert is the Hercules Gallery. And here there are automaton musicians that were designed by Hector Pascual. Amazing. So this ball was December 5th, 1969 at Hotel Lambert, one of the great balls of the 20th century. And the last one that I want to share, because I just think it's such an amazing ball, was the Surrealist ball of Marie-Hélène de Rothschild and Guy de Rothschild. And here you see a little bit of the setting, costumes. You know, this was a little bit past the end of the Surrealist movement, but Salvador Dali was very much alive and a friend, and this was kind of a way to honor him. This was also a theme that broadened people's abilities to be creative in their dress. Here you have the Baroness Denise Tyson Bonamesa with a mask that actually duplicated her head on top. And she's here with Guy Valgenal de Bouches, and they're here on a Salvador Dali sofa with Mae West lips. This book is incredible. Here you see Jacqueline de Lubec. You have Salvador Dali here. Some of the costumes. This is the Baron Alexis de Rede, who was one of Marie-Hélène's good friends. And you can just imagine them saying, what can we do to outdo not only the Oriental ball that I did in 1869, but Marie-Hélène and had also had her own first ball, also at Chateau de Ferrières in 1971, which was the Proust ball. You see again here, you just the extravagance. These were all table decorations. These were all designed by Rebar and Daigre, the same designers that did the papier-mâché elephants at Baron de Red's Oriental Ball. And we have things that are very special here. So Prince Jean-Louis De Faucigny-Lucinge was a host of one of these parties. He went to many of these parties, and you see details like these are the invitation. The invitation was done backwards on a Magritte styled background. Here's Chateau de Ferrières. Here is the dinner menu. Everything going with the surrealist theme. This book also has a biographical index in the back, which was necessary for just to keep track of all of the people in this book. And this book is it's a really important book for the history of this group of participants that are now referred to as Café Society. It could be the Bible of that. It's an insider's look, firsthand perspective. And as such, I think that it's a perfect edition. It's probably the most important book in my library about this, where you actually, so anybody that's interested in fashion history, in the history of Café Society, or just interested in how people pushed forward their ideas of beauty as much as possible, I would recommend this book. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Sergio Andres with Elegance Found. Hope you have a wonderful day.